Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start by giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Kwanawato, the Great Millstone Charlotte Camp, coming with a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And this evening, I just wanted to touch on the topic of how we've been blessed with the opportunity to serve, man. Right? 2/3 have refused this opportunity, right? We've all been presented it, man. Right? We've all been presented this grand, costly pearl, as the scriptures say, right? But the majority of our people are refusing it or refusing to see the value in it. And even more so, the heathen don't even have access to the opportunity to serve, man. Right? Their service will come in the kingdom, right? As they're in subjection, But on this side, we've been blessed with the chance to do this work for Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Right? So as it says here in Joshua 24, because that's what that word serve goes into, it says 24 and 14, now therefore fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers have served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. Right? So you go and get that word for serve. It'll say ibad, right? And it's Strong's H5647 ibad. It says to work, to labor, to work, to do work, right? So this is an opportunity of grand stature, man. Right? The chance to do this work, right? As the Lord has ordained it, man. Right? And you can't, belittle it, right? We can't try to, put other things ahead of it, right? Because this is the greatest opportunity known to mankind, man. Right? Like it says, to compel to labor or work, cause to labor, right? To make oneself a servant, right? And we're being made servants of the Lord, man. As the scriptures say, as Yahweh Shai said, I call you no more servants, I call you friends, roughly paraphrasing, because in order to become a friend, you have to first be a servant, man, right? And as a servant, you're proved, right? You're tried and proved to become a friend, man, right? You have to go through these trials and tests that we face day in and day out. So we seek to be those friends of the Lord, man, right? Let's go back. So like Joshua 24 and 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, right? So you don't want to do the work required, right? Choose you this day whom ye will serve, right? Because you're going to serve somebody, right? The majority of our people, right? 2/3 false prophets, fallouts, right? They're all serving this world, right? We pray that we endure and continue on in the service of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. But like it says, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, right? So we're serving Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man, right? Against all odds, right? Through all trials and tribulations, through all persecutions, right? We're going to continue in this service, continue in this work, right? Until the time the work is done, man, right? As the scriptures say, there will be a time where no man shall work, right? Well, Yahweh Shai said, I will work the work of him that sent me, man, right? And we're working the work, of him, right? As he sent us, as he ordained for us to do, man. Verse 16, and the people answered and said, God forbid that we should forsake Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to serve other gods, right? So this is the mindset that we're in, right? That, we're going to serve the Lord, right? in all, in the face of all adversities, man. Right? But as I made mention, we're seeking to be found friends of the Lord, man. Right? This is John 15. And we'll start in 14. It reads, "You are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you," right? And who follows the commandments, man? Servants do, right? We're in servitude. So we follow whatever commandments are laid forth, man. It says, "Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you." Right? But we start out as servants, man. Right? And we're transitioning, right, from glory to glory to where we will become those friends, man. Right? And the Lord is going to do what? He's going to protect his friends, But we have to go through these tests right here at Ecclesiasticus 6 and 7. It says, "If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him," right? So we're being proven day in and day out, man, right? Whether we can, make that transition, right, from servant to friend, right? That, and it's going to be made manifest in these times to come, when the Lord has that hedge of protection over the elect, man. That's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect, because we hope and pray, right, that we be counted amongst that number, man, right? So like it says, verse 8, "For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach." Right? So this is what we're seeing right now is men who were only friends for their own occasion, man. Right? For their own benefits, not in service to the Lord. Right? That's how you become a friend. It says, "And there was a friend being," it's like verse 10. "Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction." Right? So in these times, man, we seek to have that covering, right? From Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, right? And in order to have that, you have to be a friend of the Lord, right? The scriptures talk about being allied with wisdom is immortality, man. And we understand Yahweh Shai to be that wisdom, So again, right, we're blessed to have this opportunity to serve because this service gives us access to eternal life, ultimately, man. Right? Let's get this. Ephesians 4:1, right? This is Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 1. It reads, "I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord," right, "beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called." Right? Now you get this word vocation. Vocation, Strong G 28:21. Right? We get here in the Thayer's Greek Lexicon. It says the divine invitation to embrace salvation in the kingdom of the Most High, right? So we have this invitation, man, right? We've been called, right, to do this work, to this service, right? And as the scriptures say, many are called, but few are chosen. So you have to continue. You have to continue in this work, right? Continue in that service until the end, man. Right? The elders are going into now, right? Not putting down the plow, right? As the year have been coined, next year going into 2026, right? The year of apostates, sellouts, and agents, man, right? And that just goes into men who are putting down the plow, losing their integrity, man. Right? Losing that, not understanding the opportunity that they've been afforded, right? And misusing it ultimately, man. Right? Not walking worthy of this vocation, right? Of this opportunity that you've been afforded, man. Right? Let me get this here. Salakia. Let's go to First Thessalonians, chapter 2. It's the First Thessalonians 2 and 12. It reads, that ye will walk worthy, Salakia, that ye will walk worthy of the Most High, who hath called you into his kingdom and glory, right? You want to continue in this walk, man, right? And that walk requires work, right? The service, again, to labor. There are labors that are required of the Lord, man, right? That are required of his friends or those who seek to become friends of the Lord, man, right? Because we all seek to be friends, right? But to be a friend, you have to be, proven, again, as we read. Colossians 1 and 9. For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you and to desire that we might be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding, right? The knowledge of his will, comes with being friends, right? That ye might walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of the Most High, right? So to increase in that knowledge, right, is to have that relationship, strengthened, man. And those relationships are strengthened through adversity, right? Let me see. If there's anything else I wanted to get. Oh, because I did make mention of the, just continuing in the work real quick. Nehemiah 4. And let's see. Is it 4? See, Salakia. 4 and 6, I passed it. This is Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 6. It reads, this is going into the building of the wall around Jerusalem, right? And repairing the wall, and we're in the work of, spiritually building that wall, spiritually building the temple, man, right? It says, so built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work, right? So we have that mind to work, that mind to be in service, right? Because we understand the opportunity that we've been blessed with, man, right? I made mention of that pearl of great price, right? Matthew 13. And starting in verse 44, it reads again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in the field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchantman seeking goodly pearls, whom when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had, and bought it, right? So being able to and being willing to see the value, right, in what we're doing, man, right? Understanding how important your service is, right? Because as the scriptures say, we make our bodies a living sacrifice, man. Right? That's part of our servitude. And in that sacrifice, again, we're being proven, we're being tried, we're being tested, right? Day in and day out, right? And when we overcome these things through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we get that much closer to being friends of the Lord, man. Not before, right? You don't just get to come in and immediately be, friends of the Lord. He has to test you, right? Try your integrity, right? In order to for you to have that access, man, right? But this opportunity of service is the opportunity to receive that access, man, and that's gonna give us that hedge of protection that we seek in these times to come, man. Right? That covering, right? That what's the word? Us being kept, right, in the hour of temptation, right? It starts with the service. Okay. Let me get one more, and we'll close out. So Philippians, I think it's in 4. Let's see. This is Philippians chapter 3 and verse 8. We'll start in 7. It reads, Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Again, having the knowledge of the will of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, being comes with being a friend, man. Right? My Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Hamashiach. Right? So being found, so like counting all these things dung that you may win, right? That you may win Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai means you have that access, man. Right? You've been afforded the ability to serve the Lord and to gain access again. And that's what this whole thing is about, is being on the the right side of history, as they say. But ultimately it's about being on the right hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. Right? We want to be, right, those allies, those first fruit spirits, right? A part of those elect, right, that the Lord has shown mercy on, man. Right? And it starts with the service, right? Right? Again, just going back to the title, we've been blessed with the opportunity to serve, man. Right? So make the most of it. Right? That's what we're here to do, is to make the most of our, our opportunities that the Lord, that vocation, again, right, that we've been given, man, that calling that we've been came into, man. But that's the point. So like you. That's the point. Lord willing, it was edifying through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. I'm going to close by giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Karkadash. The honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word with our truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. A Kwame Yasharala in the Bible Ball. Shalom.